So today we're going to talk about getting ready to go do a location shoot. This particular shoot is going to be a small group, I think 4 people, and in a couple of individual portraits. The portraits are not going to be the formal portrait where you have the backdrop and the 3 lights. It's going to be what we call an environmental portrait. To distinguish, the formal portraits are typically the studio settings with a backdrop and, as I say, the 3 light setup. The environmental portrait is typically done in a person's environment. You can do an environmental portrait of a chef in the kitchen, an athlete on a playing field or in a gymnasium, a teacher in a classroom, an attorney in his law library or a courtroom, and in this case we're going to be doing 4 surgeons, and they're surgeons at a local children's hospital, so we want them to be I think sort of a warm, friendly type of photograph. And I haven't been there to scout the location, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to take to be prepared for whatever we run into. I'm also going to show you what we used to take up until recently to do something like this. So this is sort of a typical kit for going on a location shoot. On the left you have a bag with a couple of light stands, some umbrellas in there, some power cords, and it'll hold 4 lights. In this case I think we have 3 monoblocks in there, and a side pocket for various gadgets and things. In the center we have the stand for the backdrop, the support. So you've got a couple of uprights and 3 bars that go across, and then of course the camera bag. The only thing missing here is the backdrop itself. You can either use seamless or you can take a bag with some muslin or whatever you need. But you can see that this is a little bit to carry, and if you're working by yourself, by the time you add the backdrops, it's probably not just one trip from your car. So if you're going any distance from the parking lot to where you're actually going to shoot, you may be looking at a couple of trips, and I don't know how many pounds all this stuff weighs. And I know if I've gone a few blocks or climbed a few flights of stairs, it takes your breath away just a teeny bit. Okay, so that's what we, well, up until very recently, that's what we would use, and this is still very serviceable. None of this is really new equipment. In fact, it's, except for the cameras, it's probably all at least 10 years old. I don't know what I paid back then, probably for the lights. These are by a company called JTL. These models are out of stock or out of production right now, but they've replaced them. Maybe 150 bucks, 120 bucks, something like that per light. So you've got 500-600 bucks there in the camera, in the lighting. Then you've got a few $100 bucks in the supports for the backdrop, and then since my wife was listening, I'm not even going to tell you what's tied up in the camera bag. But anyway, that's sort of all you need. You can use this, set up a studio in a spare room, a garage, a living room. You can shoot it in most companies' conference rooms, or you can shoot it in a lobby. Just any place you have a space that's maybe 10 feet wide, you can do this pretty easily. Alright, so we're going to replace all of that stuff I just showed you with, this is a Pelican case. It's a hard-sided case with a padded inside, and these compartments, these are just Velcro, so you can move these and resize them any way you need them to be. And sort of the first thing I like to take when I'm going out on a photo shoot is a thing called a camera. And so this is not a really fancy camera. It's a Nikon D70S, and I have on it what is sort of my favorite lens for just general purpose shooting. It's a 24 to 120 millimeter lens. It's not tremendously fast. I think it's 3.5 to 5.6, which does most of what I needed to do. But anyway, I just love the lens. It's an older lens. It's not even the VR. There is a VR version that's the vibration resistant lens. This isn't one. This is several years old, and this is sort of the camera I prefer to shoot with. It's one of the 6 megapixels, so haven't spent a lot of money on upgrading, and honestly don't feel that I need to. So that's going in there. I highly suggest if somebody's paying you to shoot a job for them, you have a backup camera. Mine is one of 2 Nikon D100s that I own. They are my original digital cameras, 6-7 years old. Bought those when the 6 megapixels first became available. I think Canon had the D60 or the 60D, whatever they called it, and Nikon had the D100, and I ended up buying the Nikon for no particular reason other than I liked the way it felt in my hand. So anyway, that's the backup. This one has a, of course the lenses are interchangeable, but this one is an 18 to 70 millimeter lens, and it's the same speed, 3.5 to 5.6. And this one happens to have the battery pack and the vertical, the handle grip on it. And this was my workhorse for many, many years, but today it's the backup. I also use it for engagement shoots if I'm going to the beach. It's sort of my sand camera. I don't generally take the prime camera onto the sand, but I do take, actually not this one, but the original D100. It's my original sand camera. And so anyway, that's what goes on most shoots with me. After that, I probably would like to take some lights. And in this case, I'm using the Nikon. These are the SB. This is an SB800. For Canon shooters, you're probably looking at a 580 or something in there. Okay, oh, there's a lens in here. This is it just sort of lives here. The reason I'm taking it is because this is where it lives. That's a 70 to 300. I don't think I'll be using it on the shoot, but it's just where it stays. Okay, so we can lay a flash in there. The second flash I'm going to use is the SB600. It's pretty much the same as the 800. The guide number is a little lower. It doesn't have quite the amount of electronics in it, but I don't really need that. If you have an 800, then your slaves can be any number of 600s. It can also be 800s if you want to spend the extra, what, $150 or so. But you'll find that the 600s do a great job. That's not going to go in there just yet. We will put it in. Next thing we're going to take is this 85 millimeter lens with a lens shade. And you may say, well, gosh, you already have that focal length covered with these two other lenses. Why are you taking this one? It's speed. This is a 1.8. This is the widest f-stop this one will go to is 1.8, where those are 3.5. So since we don't know exactly what we're running into, we may want to be shooting under available light, or just may need the extra aperture. So that's why we're taking this one. Okay, so that goes in there. And those two lights are going to be attached to light stands. And I'm going to take the two smallest light stands from that kit that I showed you earlier. They're small and easy to carry, and they're going to get attached. The lights, what do you call them, flashes, the SB600 and 800 are going to get attached to the light stand. See, there's just a little tripod screw right there. And then this takes the place of the hot shoe. And so both flashes are going to be off camera. So we're going to take those. We'll just slide those right in there. And then we want a way to diffuse the light. Since we're not taking umbrellas or softboxes, we're going to take the Gary Fong, in this case the Whaletail, and we've done some other videos about those. I'm sure we'll do some more. This is the reporter. It's the smaller of the two, and that's going to go on one of our lights. We're going to put that right there. On the other light, we're going to put another Gary Fong Whaletail. This one's called the Studio, and as you can see physically, it's twice the size of the reporter. So that's going to be our main light. The reporter we'll use as a background light or a fill light or whatever we need it for. So this is going to go right in there. Okay, and even though that sticks up a little bit, this is nice soft foam, so that's going to be okay. Okay, so that's primarily what we take. With these, since it's all Velcro, you can just put this down over the top. And if you want to put something there and you don't want them banging metal to metal or plastic to plastic, you can do that. And that's pretty much it. Other things that you might want to throw in there, of course, are extra batteries, something to clean your lenses with if you need to. And if it's a particularly difficult client, take some aspirin.